Good afternoon, Bart Gentens for Aug.e. Aug.e is short for Augmented Energy. We are an energy management system, which is basically a system who tries to make contextualized decisions related to energy. The picture you see here gives a short explanation about what we see as context. Context for us means, of course, energy markets. It means solar panels, solar energy. Of course, the user itself. On the top left, you see if you're inside the context of a building, there are occupants, there is HVAC, there's heating, there's cooling, there's general usage, and of course, topic of today, there's cars. In the basement today, there's a lot of cars, and it will still increase. So in the future, all buildings will be on top of a big battery. What we do is we try to gather as much data as possible and then make the right decisions for the charging profiles that need to be used inside the system for each car. This is an example of how such a decision works. It's the simplest context I could find. It's the market price, which you see here, and of course the state of charge of a battery. So that means that when we see the price going down, we start sending signals to the batteries. It can be stationary, or it can be of course V2G or even simple normal electrical cars, so that the battery starts to charge when the price is low, and when the price is high again, okay, then we start using power from the battery again. This is what we do on a constant basis. Each 50 minutes, we again send new charging profiles to each asset. Can be cars, of course, or heat pumps and so on. So what we did in Share the Sun, one of the important contexts that we want to take into account is, of course, the reservation of the cars that we have here. If you talk about a building, then of course meeting room reservations and so on. That's an important context here. It's basically the reservation of the shared cars. So imagine that you have a Nissan Leaf coming in with a state of charge of 30%, and you know the same context as what I just gave, the market prices. When the car comes in, you see the price is low, so you start charging it until 100%, until the moment where the price becomes high again, and then you start giving energy back to the grid. This is basically the principle. We never go lower than 60%. I'll show you later why. But going forward, then there's sun. We see there's sun coming in, so we take the energy coming from the sun and we put it in the battery again. Later on, we can, of course, again give it away and charge it again. And then when the price becomes high again, the car starts to give energy back. Each 15 minutes, we repeat this cycle and we give new charge sessions to the system. Why don't we go lower than 60%? Basically, it's because of the range. We always want to have a minimal range available in the shared cars. And in Belgium, basically our site in Bonheide, which is here at the center, if we remain at a capacity of 60%, basically you can drive from Bonheide to Brussels and then go back to Bonheide. So then that's an acceptable range in our mind. Arthur mentioned the team connected the dots, and that's exactly where we suffer from as an energy management system. Because if the dots are not connected, we fail. Because we're only as good as the data we get to work with. So that means that each part in the chain, if it gets broken, basically we can't work, or our decisions become worse. In the setup that we have here, to explain it, of course, we have the EV, we have Venema charge poles, we have a CPO, we have the API connections to our systems. And that's only on one end. Then if you look at the building side of things, it becomes even more complex. I love the example which Johan gave. We spent a year figuring out that two cables were actually switched. This is what happens here inside your building, of course. So inside the building, you have to take into account all kinds of additional factors. And when we succeed in bringing all of these together, and that's what we did at DeeldeZon, basically at that point, we're able to really create value by sending these charging profiles time and time again. That was my part of the presentation. I hope it was interesting. So thanks for the
Thank you, Mar.
attention.
Thank you very much, Bart.